the great journalist of Nigeria, Kemi Olunloyo, and this is IJ Coza for 29th of September 2019 and the wrap-up. On July 1st, 2019, I started an investigation on the Commonwealth of Zion Assemblies and the rape allegations by Busola Dakolos. I took 60 days vigorously to investigate this claim, and I found nothing but lies on Busola's side. She was never raped. I went on TVC, I spoke to media, I did quite a lot. And I gave you concrete information, including revealing the name of one of the alleged victims who hid behind a camera but didn't hide her voice, Tumishi Oluyede. A lot of Nigerians were outraged. Really doesn't matter to me, because when you're lying against a pastor and you're calling yourself a rape victim, it's very easy to have the pastor as the culprit. One of the things I've learned, and I'm not saying this because I'm a mother of three men, is that there are a lot of false rape accusers out there. And that's not limited to Busola Dakolos. Now, if Busola Dakolos feels that she should sue me, I'm ready to give her even more evidence on the non-existent rape. Many of you saw my investigation for 60 days. I worked 15 hours a day to give you information like the story didn't have a timeline. I went on TVC and I made it clear there that she didn't have a timeline. How come after 60 days, Busola now has exact dates she was raped? How come after 60 days, I went on Azuka's show, Crosstalk on Cot, and Shade Ladipo, who is a twice rape victim, challenged me on that show, saying that rape victims may not remember the date, the year that they were raped, because they're too traumatized. But Busola Dakolos had the opportunity to tell you the exact dates, September 23rd and September 26th, 2002. That's after I busted her with the dates. She said she went to babysit a child that didn't exist 20 years ago in 1999. She now suddenly became 2002 babysitter. Well, if it was 2002, then she was just 20 years old. She wasn't a minor. But what did she tell Chude on the interview? She was underage, and it was 20 years ago, before secondary school or during secondary school, something like that. Busola's stories are conflicting. Now, Adesua Oyenokwe did an interview with two pastors. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Adesua. Adesua and I started journalism right around the same time, I believe. Okay, I grew up in Ibadan, for about 14 years before I went abroad. She also was in Ibadan. She grew up there. She was born there. And I know she worked for NTA for a long time. Okay, in those days, there was nothing but NTA. Okay, there was no channels, there was no AIT or any of that. NTA was where everybody worked if you wanted to be a journalist on television. Okay? Now, Adesua was very famous because she had a show. All right? The show was like a magazine show. I think it's Today's Woman. And a lot of people read, her content, which is very good. Now, most of my journalism was in America. Most of hers was in Nigeria under NTA. Okay? Everybody knows how long somebody works somewhere, except for most people in Nigeria who don't know my history in journalism. Okay, like when I said I spent almost 20 years at CNN. Yes, I did. Okay, and when I started putting all that information out on Instagram, everybody was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Stephanie Busari was 17 years old when I got to CNN in 1994 for my first assignment. She was a secondary school student in England. So a lot of conceptions and discrepancies about my record in journalism is not clear to many of you. I didn't grow up here for 38 years. The fact of what I'm going towards is what Adesua interviewed those two pastors about. A pregnant woman. No big deal. I already reported this thing in July to you guys, but you didn't pay attention. You didn't pay attention because it was Kemi Olunloyo. Not paying attention to the message because of the messenger makes you look like an idiot. And most Nigerians are idiots. Pay attention. I told you. I was on TVC July 12th. Chude said what? He refused to face me on the face-off. He didn't come on time so that he wouldn't have to face me on the show. And the show's host knew that, Mariah Falabi Brown, and said they didn't want to pair us together because it could get volatile. Well, Chude was a chicken. He can't argue, so he can't be a good debater. What did Chude say on his show? I interviewed 5 different women, and then it burst into tears of men crying over some alleged rape victims. Everything was staged. Chude started crying on the show. I interviewed 5 people, including who? Total of 5 people. Chude released the interviews. Many of you saw me saying this. Chude released the interviews. Let's see them. The second one, Tumishe Oluyede, who said, she never said the pastor raped her. She said, oh, then he jumped on me and did what he had to do. You did not say rape, Tumishe. Tumishe did not go to the police. Okay? Tumishe, with assistance of one very big pastor, who I wouldn't name at this time, got a U.S. visa and fled the country. On the guise of, Fatoyinbo is a cultist, he could come and hurt her. Lies. I exposed her name. Let me tell you something. I'm a mother of 3 sons. Okay, my children are 33, 28, and 19. Almost 19. Now, if any of my kids were involved in a rape, I will deal with them mercilessly. But if a woman sat down there in front of Chude and covered her face, and Chude forgot to cover her voice, I want to know who that woman is, who's saying that my son raped them. And that's why I exposed Tumishe's identity. She was not a source. Okay? She didn't go to the police. She lied. They're all liars. It's a conspiracy. I'm an investigative journalist. Okay? Now, Adesua, you're a respected journalist, now puts out an interview. Partnered with who? Partnered with Y Niger, Chude's company. You see how desperate they are to get you this information? It's too late. All these fools are supposed to be in front of the police. Pastor Busola Olotu, or whatever she calls herself, said she's a spiritual father or mother. All of them are calling themselves spiritual, this and that, to Biodun Fatoyinbo. Biodun said they were never his spiritual anything. Okay? Now, aside from the lawyers and the PR people of the church and everybody saying these things, denying these people, the fact remains that Pastor Busola Olotu is an irresponsible pastor. She's a female pastor. If Busola's sister, Fumi Ayeni, came to you in 2011 and told you that her sister was raped, you're supposed to go to the police, Pastor Busola. You did not go to the police, you kept quiet. Now, how come Fumi Ayeni came to you in 2011 when Busola told the world that nobody knew except her husband? And the husband told the world in a press conference that, I just found out in 2018, last year, they're all lying. Don't buy these things. I've done my job. Investigative journalism is a very big trained profession. It's not something you do for fun. Nigerians don't like the truth. Many people are liars here. Okay? Journalists are not supposed to be neutral. They're not supposed to take sides. They're supposed to go straight to the story and get the truth. That's why we're using 2 phrases this year. Defending media freedom and truth never dies. Okay, journalism is not a crime. It's still there. But we are going with the truth never dies and defending media freedom. You're going there, you look for the story and the truth, and you bring it out. Don't go one-sided. Don't go neutral. Simple. I asked the Dakolos to do an interview with me. Did they answer me? No. Timmy posted my phone number online. They thought it was a joke. They didn't know it would get to this. Busola Dakolos is being sued now for 50 million naira. Her husband makes 10 million naira every weekend. Let them go pay it in 5 installments. This pastor is not going to forgive you. There is no vengeance belongs to the Lord stuff. You defamed him. You destroyed his church and defamed him. The Coza members have been very good. They've been quiet and all that. And now we hear Busola has been banished for her own church. Yes, Busola, tell the world. Adefarasin has distanced himself from both of you, you and Timmy, and you have not been to House on the Rock for how many weeks now? I know what I'm saying. I told everybody in July that one of the people Chude interviewed is a pregnant woman, and another one is a minor who's going to be in the interview with their mother. Listen, Chude, this is what investigative journalism is about. You have people who are videotaping these interviews, cameramen, editors. They also work for me. They might be working for you, but I'm getting the information from them. Check your staff. This is what IJ is about, investigative journalism. Chude is old enough to be my kid. He's my firstborn's mate. Okay, he's a very intelligent kid. 15 years old, started at NTA. So you had to go to another NTA veteran to do a stupid interview with 2 stupid pastors, a female pastors, I couldn't tell the police Busola was raped. And why did Fumi Ayeni not talk to the police? It's all a lie. I'm Kemi. Thank you for following me on the 60-day journey of my investigation on Coza.